So welcome to our presentation. Before we get into the really hard stuff, I'd like to introduce the team and everybody that worked on this. We have myself, Tandam Sutana over here. I like sushi, Grey's Anatomy and Little Dragon. We have Simpiwa Kulu over here. She likes old school R&B, pasta, and The Great Gatsby. We have Sivuyo Matikane. His dream car is a Porsche Macan. His favorite sport is soccer, and his favorite sports brand happens to be Adidas. We have Jade Makwela over here. He's an astrophysicist. He enjoys cubism as an art form, futurism, abstract expression, and his goals are to own the world and to change the world. Oddly enough, he's also an astrophysicist. How fun. So now that we've become acquainted, it's time for us to speak on the app and what it actually does and how we worked on Figma. Design, contrary to popular belief, is actually a multi-step process, and these are the steps that have been outlined for us. We first empathize, we put ourselves in the feet or in somebody else's shoes, we figured out what their problem was. Then we defined the problem. We then worked to find possible solutions to this problem and brainstorming, which is also a multi-step process. And we then prototyped, we tested out, and we've got an app. So the first step of the design aspect is to find out what actually is, like who the person is, who are we designing for. Here, as you can see, what we have done is we got three personas. We got three personas that we think would have a problem and how to fix it. Now that we have found our persona, which happens to be Miss New Job, and we've amalgamated everything, we now have to figure out what their needs are, and we do that by way of asking questions. As a team, we all drafted some questions that we thought would be interesting in helping us figure out what exactly their needs are. We implemented the voting system, and through that we got to our end result. So from our questionnaire, we formulated a Google form, and we asked some people to fill it in order to see what actually, like, if our observations have been correct about the needs of the user. From the Google form, what we were able to do was to imagine a user or where exactly in their lives they would need this. So it's still part of the empathy, and we figure out. So this is Naledi's hell of a first day. And in that, Naledi wakes up, she's super happy, having a great day, but turns out that she doesn't necessarily know how to get to the place that she's going to. So how could that have been avoided if we have an app? So this is also an important aspect of the design process, and we have animated it to suit our needs. On the user journey, we have put ourselves in Naledi's shoes, and we know what kind of struggles she faced with on a day-to-day in terms of traveling and all of that. Now we figure out where in her user journey should we change in her life in order for the situation to unfold differently, to have a better outcome. So to vote as a team, then we decided that frame 4 is the apex of the problem. This is where if we change one thing in this frame, we will have fixed the whole situation, and then the outcome would have been improved. From there, then what we as a team have decided to do is to put in a short description. So as a team, what we've decided to do is that after picking frame 4 as the frame that could change the outcome of the situation, we decided that we will put a description as well as give some insight into the problem that we had faced in the app. So our insight is there. So after figuring out which aspect of our video is the one journey is the aspect that needs changing in order for there to be an improved outcome in Naledi's day, we then have to contend with statements. What we did was we defined the persona. We discussed why the problem is. In this case, Naledi, we have found that public transport in this country is largely informal, with information being passed down by word of mouth or by asking, and there's very little information to find on the internet. With that, then as a team, we all decided individually to give solutions, and some of them were too narrow, too broad, and we found something that was in between. Having done that, we found that our problem statement is that Naledi works in a marketing firm and she needs to travel. She travels to different neighborhoods, some of which she's not necessarily accustomed to. What she needs is to find a way to get information on taxis or public transport in an instant, because public transport in the country is largely informal, with information being passed down by word of mouth, or if you ask somebody that has been in that area or that is familiar with that area. Having figured out the problem statement, then we figure out how might we change Naledi's situation. So we decided that we have to create or build some sort of solution in order to give her to allow her to make more informed decisions. In order to have information on taxi ranks and taxi routes at hand for Naledi, who works in a market, in order to create a system that makes information on taxi ranks and taxi routes more accessible for her. So in the next stage of the design process, we have found that Naledi needs to find a way to have information easily accessible to her on taxi ranks and finding ways to get around neighborhoods that she's not necessarily informed in. So now, after the problem statements, we know what we need to do. Is it an app? What are we doing? So now we're brainstorming. I think then we want to make an app. What are we doing with the app? Everybody wrote down their things and we brainstormed as a team. So now that we as a team have brainstormed in our individual capacities, we now have to bring it together as a team. So what do? We brainstormed together and we amalgamated our ideas again. As you can see here, we all wrote down different aspects of what we need in the app. So we went safety, location, navigation, pricing. And pricing, everything was, we all defined it differently. I, for example, felt that the pricing would have to be should we charge our users? Should we, how are we going to fund this thing? Whereas some team members decided that, or rather interpreted pricing as taxi fares, if we will include them in our taxi information on the app. And this is what we came up with. So we ended up with one big mind map, and this is our legend to show who contributed what. I wrote in purple, Simpure wrote in orange, Jade wrote in black, Sevilla wrote in blue. And then, along with doing that, seeing as we have decided that we are doing an app, we decided that we're also going to make a flow chart. Just something quick that's going to show what we expect from our app. And again, we used the color legend. Simpure wrote in orange, Spiro wrote in blue, I wrote in purple, Jade wrote in black. And basically this app flow is actually what constituted the in our project. And this is what our brainstorming page or the ideating page looks like. In order to, we have so many other things there. in order to to also help us, we decided to put our findings page over here in order so that we could reference back and see what other pages we would need in our app flow. Point in our design, we know what we want. We know who we are making a product for. We know what they need. We have questions. We have made problem statements. We have made how do we figure out what to do. We have a rough draft in the form of an app flow in terms of what exactly it is that we want to do. We had decided that we want to make a cell phone app in order for people like Naledi to have information easily accessible to them on public transport in South Africa, which is largely informal. So in our wireframe now, we have made a basic skeleton of what we actually want the app to do. So we have made a wireframe. This is a rough skeleton of what exactly it is that we want the app to do. Along with that, we also made some snapshots that you could get of what the app would eventually look like. Because the wireframe is how we want it to work. We have created some snapshots over here. So when you open the app, you will come across a welcome page. You will get a hello page and a menu page over here. This is what Naledi would see when she goes through her app. Should she want to add a profile picture, that's what we see there. At this point in the design, we already know what it is that we want. All we're doing now is we are refining it and making it look good. So at this point of the design process, we are testing out our app. This is the prototype, and this is what we would like for it to do when it is implemented. As you can see, this is the sign-in page, so you get started, and we used the iPhone X as a model, iPhone 10. So this is the first page. You create your account, and you can either fill in your name and surname, your email, the password, and then you register. We also have a login page, and so this is what the app looks like when it starts. Over here, this is where you search your destination. This is where I'm going, and you will get taxi ranks that are near you that go to that destination. And this is the page. This is what it looks like. In that case, what happens here, what we've done here is that it also offers alternative taxi ranks, but then by way of distance. So for this person, you find that taxis to the destination are at these 3 taxi ranks, but Randburg South is further than Mayfair from them. Rosebank is further than for them. And now they have figured out how to go, so they get information, they get the fare, how much it's going to cost for them to get to their destination, at the taxi rank, how many minutes to get there. This is our menu. This is what it's supposed to look like. After you've made your profile, you can personalize it, either by using a picture, and this is what you get over here. You get all of then I think the most important part is this contribution page at the moment, because our app relies on a lot of user information. We need users to contribute to grow the database and to make it more accurate. And that is what you would find here. So when somebody, after Naledi has taken the ride, she will get, the next time she opens the app, or when she does open the app during the course of her travels, she will be asked to input what information did she find and what information did she find that was accurate or wrong. So then we also get the users themselves. If they're not contributing on their own, they will be prompted to do so. So if the taxi rank was incorrect, they can change and they can put in there that they went to so and so taxi rank and it actually wasn't that one. How much it costs and the routes, and that is just basically trying to get as much information from the user as possible. And we have our contribute page here, and then should you want to contribute more information than one, we allow here by adding another. So this will just continuously loop until the person presses done. So if they want to add 5 taxi ranks and taxi routes, they can do that if they want. And this is the goodbye page. Thank you for your feedback. This is their contribution. Also, thank you very much to you for staying in and listening to this very long video.